What's up, everybody? Back here, Kevin, for the next League of Legends champ review for the blog. And this week we are doing Malphite, and I am banning, actually, this game. I've got to try and pick who I'm going to ban, and I think we're going to ban out...
Maybe a GP.
Draven, because I ran out of time. Alrighty, Garen was who I meant to click. And we'll probably finish with... You think GP's ban-worthy?
GP or Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I'd rather not see Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser, if your team's... Oh, well, that helps. Alright, GP it is. If your team's really bad and you have a Mordekaiser in the bot lane, it can really screw up a lot of your game and make it nearly impossible to win. Oh man, so this is already a great game for Malphite. So, like I said, we're picking Malphite this game. The summoner spells I'd recommend for Malphite are going to be Teleport and Flash. They go ahead and give Malphite kind of that global presence that his ultimate can really become useful for, which I'll get into his spells in just a moment. And then I recommend running Tank, Runes, and Masteries, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm one of those firm believers in that rather than just trying to mimic someone else's, you should try and figure out what works best for yourself. And so, for a quick rundown of Malphite's abilities, the first is his passive, which I'm hovering over, but you won't see that one. His passive is a 10% of his max health shield that regenerates over time. You can use that to go ahead and effectively poke during the laning phase, as well as it helps make him a little bit more tanky in every team fight than some of the other tanks within this game. His Q is called Seismic Shard, and it is a projectile slow that allows him to clear gaps or slow down chasing opponents. His W is Brutal Strikes, and what that does is it passively increases his armor, which makes him more tanky to physical-based damage. And on top of that, it's going to go ahead and allow him to buff his auto attacks and make it so his auto attacks deal bonus damage based on his armor. And Malphite's one of those unique champions that does scale damage with armor, which is very rare in the League of Legends champion lineup. His Ground Slam also scales with armor, which is his E, and what that does is it's an AoE around him magic damage attack that slows the attack speed of enemies for a short time, and this is what really helps Malphite and is one of his bread and butter skills, is it allows him to really cripple auto attack based champions, which we're versus Vayne right now, so he's going to have a great time crippling and shutting down that Vayne. And then his R is Unstoppable Force, which is a short dash, or a pretty decent range actually, dash towards any direction you click, and at the end of it, he slams the ground, knocking everyone up in the air, and that basically stops them from doing anything for a few seconds, which is absolutely huge. And so Malphite is a tank within this game and really, really is effective versus AD champions rather than mages, so he's primarily picked in compositions where the enemy teams put a lot of focus on physical damage rather than having magical damage, and it really allows him to counter a lot of that. And so we're going to get started here, and I'm joined by my guest, Blackfire, whose name is Sean, as you'll hear me recall. Say hi to everyone, Sean.
Hi everybody, and thank you for having me, Kevin.
Oh, no problem, Sean. It's a pleasure having you on here. So, Sean, what do you think about Malphite?
Malphite's a great champion. He's seeing a very high pick and win rate in both the regular game and competitive League of Legends.
I would agree with that. So, right now, we're up against a pretty interesting team comp. How do you think Malphite's going to hold up versus this type of comp?
Taking a second look at it, they have a Nasus, which should be a very easy laning phase for you, since Nasus usually wants to go pretty passive, as do you. And you can probably look to make a ton of plays in the mid-game while Nasus is still trying to farm up his Q. Looking at the other enemies, you got Vayne and LeBlanc. They're pretty squishy, although they're kind of mobile and hard to hit.
Yep, I feel like Malphite, as long as he hits that slow on Vayne in the knockup, it's really going to slow down Vayne's DPS. One of her primary forms of damage is those silver bolts for true damage based on max health. So I feel like Malphite really adds something special to our team comp versus an enemy champion like Vayne.
Yeah, our team, we have a really high damage mid laner with Vhagar, who some would say he's a little bit overpowered right now, along with Ashe. We have a ton of CC with Ashe's ultimate being that long range stun arrow, your ultimate being that long range unstoppable force, and my ultimate, which blocks them all in place.
Not to mention we have Nautilus ultimate, which is just going to chase people down and knock them up for a second time, similar to my ultimate.
Very true.
We have a lot of CC on our team, which is going to really help us when trying to either stop Nasus from getting to Ashe or just lock down Vayne and LeBlanc and prevent them from doing absolutely anything. I think the big wild card here is going to be the enemy Blitzcrank and making sure he doesn't hit those pulls early game on our ADC.
I'll be playing support as Leona, and I'll try to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yep, but hopefully our Ashe knows how to play against a Blitzcrank, because if she doesn't, it could turn out pretty negative for us, and that would be most unpleasant. So, when I start with Malphite, there are two traditional ways to start. One is Flask and Health Potions to keep his mana and HP up during the laning phase. If you want to just kind of passively farm, stay alive, do your thing. The other start, and the one I actually prefer to do, is a Doran Shield and a single health potion. I think it gives Malphite a little bit stronger of a trade early game, and gives him a little bit more early game flexibility to deal with the enemy champions in the top lane. But you have to be careful and make sure that you really trade around his passive shield and try not to take too much more damage than that shield every time you engage. So Sean, how long have you been playing League of Legends?
I've been playing since about 2012, which was the end of Season 2. So it's been a pretty fun and eventful 3 years in this game.
It's good
Seen
to hear.
a lot of ups and downs, and throughout the whole time, Malphite's been a pretty consistent pick.
That he has. And, oh man, I've got to actually fight right now. This guy thinking he can hit me and I'm not going to walk at him. What a fool. Your bush belongs to me now. But, oh, hold up, we'll dance. But, so one of the things that I wanted to ask, so what elo are you currently in, Sean?
Currently I'm sitting about Platinum 5.
And I believe, based on statistics, I had recently looked those up just about a month ago. That would put you around the top 10% in North America.
Yep.
So that puts you right up there with being right around the position that I'm currently in. So we're actually in ranked, which should give us some really nice competitive play to show you guys, where this is going to be a video where you should get to see a little bit more technical stuff rather than just the basics, because I'm not playing a normal game. So hopefully you guys will get to see some really cool or interesting gameplay here for this one. So right now, since I am against Nasus, and Nasus really focuses on that, his ability to try and farm last hits, I'm focusing on preventing Nasus the ability to get those last hits. Because by doing that, what I'm hoping to do is slow down his damage. Because Nasus is one of those champions that the more minions he kills with a specific spell, he's going to get permanently stronger. So you really want to do everything you can to slow him down. And now Malphite's not one of those champions that traditionally can go ahead and stop or harass enemy champions super effectively early game, but we're going to be playing him like one because you kind of need to do everything you can to slow down the Nasus. And right now, I've actually got Nasus pretty low on health through harassing him. Nasus is not in a good position anymore. He's going to have to start burning all of his potions, which I believe he's already gone through all of his flasks. Yep, Nasus has gone through all his flasks. He's already down to just his health potions, and he's at a level deficit. This will probably push Nasus towards backing early, which will give me a pretty substantial advantage, as well as pushing these minions in really made it difficult for Nasus to try and CS there, and slowed him down to be even with me, because I've been missing a little bit of CS by having to focus on hitting Nasus and stopping him from getting QCSs, which, if I can stay even with him, but stop him from effectively being able to farm his Q in the long run, would you agree that that's a win?
Oh yeah. Preventing Nasus to do anything in the long run is a huge win.
Alright, it looks like Volibear is going to try and gank me, but he's not going to be able to get into position quick enough, and I'm going to use my slowing shard, but it's going to be just enough where they hit me, but they're not really going to be able to do much damage because of my getting back just in time, I suppose. But that is going to drop my health enough where Nasus is going to have an easier time laning now. Nasus is going to go much more aggressive, but he has burned through most of his mana. And without those flasks, he's really gone ahead and used up a lot of what he has in this lane as far as damage and refreshing abilities and all of that. So that's going to allow us a little more flexibility, and I'm actually going to move forward now and last hit these minions like this, because I can see Nasus is backing, and that's going to make it so I can quickly grab the CS, shove the lane, and try and get an advantage. Nasus is already back to lane, though. And it looks like he's going all out to try and kill me here, but he's not going to be able to, and I'm going to be able to easily go ahead and back here. And now I think I'm going to start with a Bam Cinder and 2 more health potions, and then quickly teleport back to the top lane.
I'll let you know that Volibear was just bot lane.
And that knowledge is going to give me the ability to try and be a little bit more aggressive. And having gotten this Bam Cinder now, Bammy Cinder, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, that really actually increases my DPS significantly, because Nasus is going to have to keep getting into melee range here to try and farm. And by just being able to walk at him, I can slowly keep him away. Unfortunately, that is going to hurt us, the double kill in the bot lane. And it sounds like from chat that was actually our Ashe's fault that we got caught. What happened down there for the kind of the recap for those people listening, since I can't really show them?
Well, Volibear came for a repeat gank that we both saw, but Ashe kind of didn't back down and stayed pushing, and the Volibear kind of just walked behind her and came for her.
It's a shame. I've hit level 6 now, and it looks like our mid laner isn't mid. I was actually going to go for a roam, but I can't. And it seems like Nasus is working towards a Frozen Fist and has focused on building armor. Which is good for me, because a lot of your damage as Malphite is actually magic damage. So I'm going to continue to just shove the minions into tower range and try to go ahead and screw with Nasus's last hitting here. And Nasus is going to try really hard to kill me right here, but he's not going to be able to. And I'm going to turn around and kill Nasus as soon as I get the chance. And there it is. Oh, I ran out of mana.
Alright, that's just DC'd, I think.
And I am going to still get the kill. Even though I ran out of mana, I was able to walk towards Nasus. His ultimate was burned. He was low on mana to try and do anything else. And because of it, he had chased me and put himself out of position. And that kill is actually going to hurt Nasus a little bit if I can quickly shove these minions into turret range so that he loses some farm. Nasus is very, very farm dependent. So denying that is going to be really useful.
Oh, Volibear was just top before he backed.
With knowing Volibear is top, I'm actually going to roam bottom now. My ultimate's up in 70 seconds. Darn, that's actually a little longer than I want. My ulti and my teleport are actually synchronized perfectly right now. So I guess I will go back top. But what I'm going to do is as soon as my ultimate's up, I'm going to be looking to make a gank bottom so that we can try and grab that dragon and have the first dragon of the game.
Our Ashe is AFK right now, so I'll get back to you when she suddenly decides to play again.
Alrighty, that's actually quite terrible. So, when you have an AFK, the only thing you can really do is cry and hope they come back. So I was able to just show up to lane, and I am really going to be able to try and slow down the Nasus here. I can go very aggressive with my current items. I can basically just stand on top of him and prevent him from doing any damage to me currently, while he's taking a large amount of damage from me, as well as making it very difficult for him to try and last hit by pushing the minions under turret. I'm throwing off his auto attacks by using my E to slow down his auto attacks, which, while you're playing Nasus, can get annoying because you expect to hit the minion in time, but because your attack animation was slowed, you don't make it and you miss hits.
Volibear is coming up. I am going to come up and try to help you.
Alrighty, that's going to be alright. I should be able to survive just fine. I have both my flash. I've activated 2 health potions. I am going to flash away, though, just to be safe. And we will be able to hopefully... Could you use your passive on those shields to heal me up quick?
Yes, I can.
Alright, so hopefully we're going to bait him in. And this is going to be a big gank, and he's going to go down. There's going to be no way Volibear survives, and that's going to actually give me red buff, which is really going to slow down the top lane now, because now Volibear has given me another way to slowly harass down this Nasus. And Nasus is just going to take a ton of damage from it. Because that early game true damage does a lot of work. And Nasus is really trying to go ahead and keep the minions out of tower range to continue farming, but he's not going to be able to. And unfortunately, I did have to use my ult there, though, which means I'm not going to be able to use it to gank bot lane like I wanted to. As Malphite, something you can always be looking to do is use your teleport when you take the summoner spell to make the ganks, because those can absolutely win fights for you. And wow, that was a very good play by our Nautilus. You just got to see the enemy team really tried to dance around him and get a free kill, and he was able to force a 1-for-1 there. But because he died, that is going to make it quite the sketchy situation. And is Ashe teleporting? No, that is our Vigor. Okay. It looks like our Ashe is AFK again, which is kind of bad.
It's really bad.
This is going to force us into quite the predicament, because she was our main damage output, and we're going to be in a really bad spot if she does not return to do her role. I mean, I did a video on Ashe, so you know kind of what she all does in the game and what she's capable of, and if you don't, go ahead and watch the video. But without her, the damage we have is significantly lowered. And it looks like the enemy team is grouping up right now. I'm going to try and stick by mid lane to see if I can make a counter gank here. It looks like I will be able to. They're probably going to position themselves poorly here, and I'm going to be able to go ahead and come right over the wall for a free kill. No, I'm not. They didn't chase the way I wanted them to. But it looks like Vayne's right here, and so is her. I'm going to try and run around. We'll see if we can make the play. Oh, man, I really need Vigor to be in position. You know what? It looks like we're going in. And I'm going to hit that knock-up. We're going to hit the ulties, and so many people are going to die. And that's going to be an easy double kill, and I'm going to teleport top now. And I'm going to be able to stop the taking of top turret as well. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made! I'm going to have to use my slowing rock to get away here, but they do not have the damage to finish me off. Volibear is low, and although I was not able to finish that off, we were able to get the dragon off that. 2 kills. I was able to force a back from them. And I am still able to sit there and kind of 1v1 this Nasus a little bit, which is good for us. What I really need is to start getting my next item rolling, which I'm going to actually go ahead and make a Thorn Mail because of their Vayne. Vayne's going to be dropping a lot of auto attacks in my direction, but I'm going to pick up and finish boots first. I recommend the Ninja Tabbies as your second item for Malphite, followed up by Thorn Mail if the enemy team is physically damage heavy. Leona picking up the extra damage should be pretty helpful, but Leona doesn't necessarily have that huge damage output to do it. And we are going to get a kill there. Ashe did come back. She just used her ultimate. And if Vigor can hit that stun, this actually might be a double kill for Vigor and Leona in the mid lane. Oh, and Leona's going to get it. Oh, what a play. And I'm going to quick use my auto attacks and tankiness to force Volibear and make that a triple. Vigor trapped him in, and that was very good for us. We're going to be able to easily start making a comeback. And because we won this early game, we can start trying to... Vigor's dead. We can start trying to let Ashe farm up for kind of a mid-game. Yeah, you want to fight? Fine. I've got my other main man here, but we are out of mana. Actually, we have good mana. It's just kind of a dangerous game we're playing right now. I think we can do it if I ulti in and I have a little extra damage. So here we go. I'm going in. Woo! And I am barely going to get out. Holy cow, and Nasus is just out of mana, but that engage is going to just barely be enough. Oh man, and Vigor's going to hit a huge stun. And we're going to be able to pick up a ton of kills, hopefully, here off of that stun. Maybe? No, it's just going to be the one. I got really excited there. I got very excited there. What time was that? Like 16:50? I'm gonna record that. Make sure I put a note for people to watch there. Alrighty. So it looks like they did regroup quicker than we did. And because of that, we lost the mid lane. I should have been headed to mid lane from the start, but I would not have made it anyway. Alright, so it looks like we are starting to get the game rolling. Nasus is going to try and probably freeze top. There's a huge minion wave. I'm going top right now because he's only last hitting with his Q to shove the lane into turret and force him to not take these all as bonus damage. And this is going to be a good, like, 40 damage loss for Nasus minimum, which is really going to be helpful for us. And what I've done is I've just slowed the attack speed of Nasus, kind of stood under turret there for a little bit, but allowed the minions to do a good chunk of his health. And Nasus is really trying hard to kill me here, but he's not going to be able to. Neither will Volibear. Because I've got assistance, and it's going to be enough for me to kind of just... Oh, no! I was not able to ulti over the wall because of that LeBlanc. And that's going to be my first death, I think, of the game. Yep. That will be my first death. The 3 people was more than I expected. I only expected the 2, and because of that, I was not prepared for that fight, and that is a shame. Nasus is going to be power shoving that top lane right now to try and go ahead and get an advantage. We've got Ashe really trying to catch up, but so far behind she really can't do much. We're really going to have to rely heavy on this Vigor for our damage output in order to give us the advantage in this game. We're barely losing right now in kills, but we do have the Dragon advantage. Speaking of which, Sean, do you know what the Dragon timer is?
That would be about
47 seconds. Excellent. My TP is up. Always try to keep your teleport available for when Dragon's going to be coming back up. That way you have it to help out for your team. Nasus is starting to get beyond my damage threshold. Volley is coming up again for another gank. They're really trying to get Nasus started here because he had such a slow start. And he's starting to get to the point, like I said, where I'm not able to really fight him too much anymore. We're not going to be able to kill him. The best we can kind of do is shove the lane in and hope to get the turret here. Especially with our team dying in bot lane. That's going to put us in a bad position. They're going to get Dragon now on top of this. I am, however, going to be able to drop some damage on Nasus, which is much needed. I finally got Nasus below half health where I need him to continue being able to really harass. Nasus is just going to sit under this tower and farm. And darn it, Volibear is really keeping Nasus in a safe spot. And I'm going to probably die again because of that. I'm going to just blow my ultimate to get away. I'm going to try and sneak away.
Yep, we're both going to get away.
And I'm going to get away. Leona's going to get away. That's big win. And I do have Thornmail now, which is really going to help. But now I have to start getting that magic resist. Because we're really going to need it.
That way I can punish the LeBlanc.
That blue buff steal is really going to help us. That was a smart move by Sean. Our Ashe finally has a BF sword. She's at 92 CS to the Vayne's 153. So she's almost halfway to where Vayne's at. Maybe a little more than halfway, but we're still not out of the woods here by any means. That is alright. I have the Thornmail, which is really going to help protect me and keep me in a decent position, and I'm really just shoving in the lane. What we need to do is start team fighting and force Nasus out of the lane.
Let's go for it. Ah, looks like they backed off.
They probably have a lot more ward coverage than we do right now, because we're really lacking in that department. Ashe is too busy trying to catch up and farm where we don't have the ability to really do a team fight, which is what Malphite really excels at. Right now, we're really playing a game that's assisting the enemy team. Sorry, I always yawn in every video that I post. Can you find all of my yawns? It's like, where's Waldo, except I'm yawning. Alright, so we are going to have to try and engage here. And there's going to be our stun, but it's not really the stun on the champion we wanted. This is not the smartest way to force a fight. I don't even know where I am. I'm dead. That's where I am. I actually didn't even get an ult off because there wasn't a good opportunity for me to ult. And we are going to be able to turn that around. Even without my ulti, we were able to land the ace, which is absolutely astounding. Ashe was able to catch up. And with Ashe catching up there, that is going to really start turning this game around for us. So this will be hopefully a really good comeback, and we'll be able to capitalize on that. And we are going to get our first turret of the game. I'm going to teleport bottom, make the minion the tower is focusing invulnerable, and we're going to be able to not only get middle, but also bottom turret. And that's going to be a huge win for us.
Any more gold that we can get, the better.
And there it is. That's going to be a good jump in team gold that we really needed to almost even up the playing grounds, because we were way down in team gold at the beginning of this. But it looks like Ashe really wants to try and kill Vayne here, so I'm going to wait with her, and we're going to see if we can make a play. Looks like Vayne is trying to farm up. One strong play here, and we might be okay. And this is going to be it. Vayne is just going to instantly die. That's going to be an instant kill for Ashe. That's going to be huge. Ashe is going to be able to grab that, get some nice items, and we're going to be able to back. And Vigor is right. It is about time, if we haven't upgraded trinkets, to do so now. So I'm going to be grabbing my trinket upgrade, because I actually forgot to grab that earlier. And that is going to go ahead and really help to increase our map awareness and our map presence, because we'll be able to go ahead and see a little bit more of what's going on.
There is a ward right there. I can't use my sweeper again. But you're topside, so that doesn't really matter for you.
Nope, I am really going to quick try and focus on throwing this lane there. Dragon's up in 55 seconds. I'm going to see if I can force this Nasus to give me the turret up here. And Nasus hurts himself more than he can hurt me now with each auto attack. Since I have more health and the minions have pushed in, I'm going to be able to finish off this turret easily in our favor, and that's going to allow me to start fighting Nasus now at this spot on the map, because before this turret was doing a ton of damage, and now it's really not stopping me at all. But this Volibear is going to wreck me. So I'm going to use my little movement speed boost to try and survive, but I'm going to die here because this is just silly. There's so much slow between the two of them that there was just absolutely nothing I could do to get away. I'm starting to work towards that magic resist, because as you can see, although I'm taking a ton of physical damage still, I am going to be taking a lot of damage from those, and I need to make sure I'm not so squishy to magic that their LeBlanc can burst me down, because if that happens, we're really going to be lacking in team fights. But we are going to get the dragon for them all going top to focus me, which is, in the long run, a huge win for us. And Vigor forced the flash there. Ashe did miss her ulti. Nasus is going to try and split push, but he's not going to be able to. And we're actually going to turn this into several kills for us. And what a great stun by Vigor through the wall there. Nasus isn't going to get a single hit on this turret because I'm going to be able to show up to deny him. So as you can see right now, I'm going for my 4th item, being a Banshee's Veil, because I want to try and negate a lot of that magic damage, and being immune to that first spell is going to be super, super helpful. But as you can see, as long as Nasus has someone other than me to hit, he's going to be able to fight me now, because I do not have the damage myself to go ahead and kill him anymore. There really isn't much I can do in the top lane other than farm, so my goal up here is no longer to be fighting Nasus. It is 100% to just kill the minions and get out of the lane and make sure that he's not pushing our turret. We now have solid ward coverage around Baron, which is really good for us, and we're going to start rotating towards mid lane to try and make a play. And here we go. We're going to be able to make a play because they got absolutely greedy. Ashe is moving in, and LeBlanc is going to try and burst down Ashe. I'm waiting for it. No, LeBlanc did not go in. Instead, she ran away. That's very good for us. We could actually probably rotate toward Baron right now. I think we go for it 110%. I think we're in a great position to. If the enemy team tries to stop us, we should be able to interrupt them pretty easy with all of our abilities. So we're going to start the Baron immediately, and you can see that the enemy team has already started towards our direction. So we're going to fall back and get ready to go ahead and intercept the enemy team. And you can see we've already started in on Nasus, but Ashe stayed too close to Baron, and that's going to hurt us. But I was able to hit the knock-up, and we're going to be able to not only get Baron after this, we might be able to go ahead and ace them.
We don't have the damage for Baron, though.
Dang, we do not. But we were able to turn that Baron try where they jumped on us into a very positive trade. And in the end, that's huge for us. And I did get the ward down now on Baron, and my TP's up, where if they tried to start it somehow in a last-ditch effort, they would not be able to get it because I would be there quick enough to stop them. So the next item I'm going to get, because we're verse Vayne, is going to end up being a Frozen Heart. And Frozen Heart really helps Malphite versus auto-attack based champions, because it goes ahead and slows down auto attacks even more with Frozen Heart's passive, which goes ahead and reduces attack speed by 15%, as well as
that's really good on top of your E.
Yeah, and with Nasus's, or with the cooldown reduction and the bonus armor, it also gives Malphite some much needed damage. But I think Frozen Heart is the right way to go right now. We already have one on our Nautilus, though, so I actually might turn this into a Frozen Fist to increase my damage output, to make it so I'm a little bit more of a threat to Vayne, to try and draw more of Vayne's attention. And they're trying to go for Dragon, it looks like, but I'm going to go a little bit hard here and see if I can slow down Blitzcrank.
There's a teleport coming down from the mid lane.
What we're going to do now is rotate to the mid lane. Oh man, and Nasus barely was able to avoid that hit. Alright, I am going to be able to get another ward down on the map. And now it looks like they're grouping up and going in on me. I'm going to have to flash away to make sure that they can't just all in. But now I'm going to turn around and start attacking to make them think we're ready for this. Oh, they clearly know that we're not ready for this. I don't think it matters because we got ready. And I'm going to quick ulti before I die because I know I'm going to die. But I might be able to turn the fight with that ultimate. And it looks like I was, because we're going to pick up 3 kills there for myself because of that knock up there, and the rest of the team following up.
It was really good that they tried to initiate on you because of how tanky you are. We could just turn it.
Exactly. Even though I died, because dying is kind of almost part of my job at sometimes. Hitting that ultimate really led us to be able to win big, and Vigor has really been able to just drop damage on the enemy team here and completely shut them down from being able to do much of anything.
And I have completed the Aegis, so you'll have bonus magic resistance for these fights.
Baron did just spawn, or Dragon. Dragon did just spawn. And what Dragon's going to go ahead and do is really going to... I just realized I had changed my position and was slouching. You probably could only see the top of my head there for a little bit. So I apologize for that, but sometimes I get tired.
Just like in your Skype picture.
Just like in my Skype picture, which is just the top of my head. It looks like the enemy team is going to be able to get Dragon there, but they're not going to be able to get Baron. I'm going to make sure I get a ward. Oh, that's 2 yawns this video. A ward down. Behind Baron's head is where I like to ward, mainly because it's a pain in the butt to kill. And then I'm also going to get a ward right here. Right now I do not have the gold to finish the Frozen Fist. But hopefully we'll be in a decent position here soon. That inhib we got in middle from me dying. Looks like they are trying to do something here, but they've clearly made a mistake again because they're engaging on me and Leona. And we've now caught them 100% off guard, and that's going to be another... Oh, and I'm going to just go over the wall with Leona. We're going to start the fight, and that's going to be free kills for us. That's going to be several free kills for us. And that's going to be the game. We're going to be able to push and end the game off of that. And even with Ashe being AFK for a huge chunk of the beginning of the game, we're going to be able to turn this one around and end up winning. That's going to be another kill for Vigor. We're going to be able to continue to just focus down these turrets. And Vigor did ulti the clone on accident. So that was the wrong guess. But this is it. This is the game. We won this one. And this was a great example of how Malphite can be used in team fights, especially during some of those bigger battles there, to really turn the tide. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, that ultimate on top of everybody else's ultimates and crowd control really helped us seal the deal in that game, and they really did not have a chance.
Now, do you think if the enemy team might have had a different ADC, kind of like an Ezreal or something like that, you'd still want to pick Malphite, or do you think you'd want to go in a different direction at that point?
I think it's fine if you pick Malphite if you're able to use that ultimate to influence the game in some way other than going for Ezreal, because it is a bit risky to go all in on Ezreal that could either flash out of your ult or E out of your ult.
So when do you go ahead and think that Malphite tends to not be a pick that you would go ahead and move towards in one of these games?
If the enemy has a lot of mobile champions, including ADC, like you said, Ezreal, if they also had champions that had dashes and ways to prevent or get away from a Malphite ult, like, say, a Lucian dashing, a Sever spell shielding it, they'd be able to just nullify your ultimate and completely make you useless.
Yep, I can 100% agree with that. By the way, fantastic job making up for the shortcomings of our ADC early game by building that early Frozen Gauntlet to try and increase our damage output there. It really ended up paying off and buying us the time we needed for Ashe to catch up.
Yeah, it was very doubtful that we could have completed that game if she would have AFK'd, because we simply wouldn't have the damage. But since she was able to stay connected and combo with your ultimate with her ultimate, we were easily able to completely negate any kind of damage the enemy team had.
Yep, so I've got to ask, what would your favorite champion in League be? There are so many to choose from.
My favorite champion would have to be one of the least played champions in the game, and that would be Yorick.
Really, Yorick. Now, Yorick is almost never seen played and actually never played competitively. Is that correct?
He's been played a few times overseas in China and Korea, only a few handful of times in the past few years. But yeah, he's a very rare pick.
One of these days, I might have to try and do a champ review then on Yorick and have you come back and actually you do a lot of the talk here where I'll guest star for you and then you can give us the rundown on Yorick.
I'd love to do that. Yorick is one of my favorite champions, and I don't think many people have as much knowledge on the champion as I do.
Yeah, I would very much agree with that. I mean, even as a longtime veteran league player myself, I very rarely still see Yorick, nor do I play him very rarely, just because he's very different than most champions. But without going too far into that, I guess I'll save that for the next video. But thanks again very much for coming and playing, Sean, and I very much appreciate you giving the time for us to go ahead and do this.
No problem. I was happy to help.
Alright, well, thanks again, and I hope you have a great night, but to all of you people watching, see ya.